Does your OCD make you worry and obsess about OCD? We're going to talk all about Meta OCD. Stay tuned. That's what's up next. Hi, my name is Natasha Daniels. I'm a therapist and I make videos for people with anxiety and OCD. And today I want to talk to you about an OCD theme that really confuses a lot of people. And that, we technically call it Meta OCD. And really what that is having OCD intrusive thoughts about OCD. Why? Why not? Because OCD is playing chess, not checkers, and it will work on outsmarting you. And part of that idea is to make you spin and get dizzy around the topic of OCD. So what does this look like? Well, it can look different for different people, and they often don't realize that it is OCD, and that's why I'm making this video to help normalize that. You might worry that maybe you actually don't have OCD. Maybe you never had OCD. Maybe you've been lying to everybody, or spending all this money on treatment, or talking about it, and actually you don't have OCD. And that could be for lots of reasons. That might make you feel guilty. It might make you feel like you're a fake. It also might make you feel like your actual intrusive thoughts are real. And so there's so many flavors of Meta OCD. You might think, well, maybe I don't have OCD, and maybe I am actually a truly bad person. Or maybe I don't have OCD and this is actually part of who I am. And that's really hard to accept. And there is no cure. There is no way to crush it. Or maybe I am making excuses for my behavior, and actually my behavior is due to something else other than OCD. It doesn't matter. There's many different renditions of this theme, but the belly of it, the underbelly of it is maybe I don't have OCD. And that can be really scary for lots of different reasons. Other Meta OCD themes, and there's a whole bunch of them. It could be I am going to get really hung up on OCD itself. And so I'm ruminating and obsessing about obsessing. What if I have a really hard time with this? What if I have all these compulsions? What if this never goes away? What if this is my entire life? And it's different than just the real concern about it. There are compulsions related to this, and we'll get to that in a second. And so obsessing about obsessing. Oh my gosh, that happened. Am I going to spend the rest of the day obsessing about it? And I'm not even into the concern. I'm not even into the trigger. I'm into the worry about the trigger. Does that make sense, right? It's like, that's why it's called meta, because it's bigger, right? It's over the OCD. I'm worrying about the obsession. I'm obsessing about obsessing. I'm worried about having OCD, and it is an OCD issue. So it's like one of those, like you're looking in a mirror, right? Or there's like, have you ever seen those pictures where it's like a picture inside a picture inside a picture? It's like that. It kind of makes your head go, right? Another one that I kind of see sometimes is worrying about getting rid of OCD. And I don't want to get rid of OCD, or people are trying to get rid of part of who I am. Or if I get rid of OCD, maybe I won't be safe. And I love being safe, and OCD keeps me safe. And so that's kind of a Meta OCD theme as well, is really worrying about that. What I find is that a lot of times when Meta OCD themes show up, it's actually weirdly sometimes a good sign, because it means that OCD is on the run. OCD is like, I don't know what to do. You're crushing me. And so I'm going to be like, turn around and be like, maybe I'm not even OCD. Or what happens if you get rid of me? What are you going to do? Right? And so then it's like, I never thought about that. And so it is really a very clever, it's a clever manipulation of OCD to turn OCD as the theme in and of itself, because more often than not, it's not recognized. And it's scary because you're like, well, I was doing really, really well. And now I wonder if I even ever had OCD to begin with. Or, I did this exposure and it didn't bother me. And because you're progressing and you're making good progress, and then OCD's like, maybe it's because you liked it. And so OCD will roll up its sleeves and get dirty in OCD treatment. And the more desperate OCD becomes, and I personify it and kind of talk about it like it's actually this villain, because that can really help, because it is a glitch in your brain and it is misfiring and it's getting stuck, it's getting snagged. And so when you are progressing, OCD is having a hard time hooking into things. And so it's throwing all this stuff out there out of desperation. And unfortunately, a lot of times people get hooked into that. I would often see meta OCD themes happen towards the end of treatment. When people were doing really well, or they began to get motivated to work on OCD, then they would start to worry about losing their OCD. It's what will it feel like if I lose OCD? Or maybe I don't have OCD, or how do I know it's OCD? Or I'm doing these exposures and I'm getting better, so maybe it means that I never actually had OCD, or maybe it means that I actually like these things and I'm a bad person. All sorts of trash. When you remove the content from that, and the content in this case is the theme of OCD in and of itself, remove the content, and it is still the same old playlist. It's still OCD doing OCD. It's putting out the bait, right? It's like it's fishing. It's putting out the bait. Maybe you don't have OCD. Maybe you actually enjoy this because you're not getting, concerned about the exposures. And then you're swimming along, and do you take the bait? It's the same thing, right? OCD puts lots of bait out there, and it's different, right? Is this contaminated? Are you a bad person? Is this even? All sorts of bait. And this is just another flavor. It's just another bait. And you get to choose whether you're going to get hooked in. Are you going to bite the bait? Are you going to take the bait? Are you going to get hooked in and reeled in? Or are you going to notice that this is just another ploy of OCD and I'm not getting hooked in? That's really, and I know that is so simplistic, but that really is the art of crushing OCD, is recognizing that it's another trap, right? So when you recognize that you are feeling distressed about a thought, and you recognize that you're obsessing about a thought, and you're recognizing that you are mentally arguing a thought over and over and over without any kind of satisfaction, it's a big red flag that it's OCD. So if the question is this OCD or not, and I'm ruminating it over and over and over again and doing mental compulsions, I have videos on that, you can watch them here, is about maybe mentally arguing or researching or checking. Are you doing those things because OCD is saying maybe you are not this, maybe you're actually this, or maybe you don't have OCD? Well, those are clear compulsions. So when you're having all those symptoms of OCD, you don't really have to doubt it, because OCD loves doubt. And at the crux of this issue, like every other issue, most other issues, uncertainty is at play. How can I be certain this is OCD? How can I be certain that I'll be okay without OCD? How can I be certain that I didn't really enjoy that exposure? How can I be certain that I don't need these compulsions, right? Well, embracing uncertainty is a big part of OCD recovery. It's what I talk about a lot. And this is just another element. And so when OCD is, wanting you to scratch that itch and get that finality, that certainty that this is OCD, or that you don't enjoy the exposure, or that you will be okay without OCD, whatever it's telling you, recognizing you're not going to scratch the itch, and that you're not going to give OCD certainty, because there's nothing in life that is 100% certain. There isn't, right? There is likelihoods, but there's no 100% certainty in really anything. And so when you see that OCD is causing those intrusive thoughts, causing mental compulsions, causing distress, even if the topic is OCD, you learn to not get hooked. No, I'm not gonna engage with you, OCD. If you like to be funny or kind of empowering, you can be sarcastic back to OCD. I like that. Some people don't. It depends on your style. You can either just accept the thought, which I know can be really, really hard, or you can be sarcastic back. You can say things like, yeah, I don't have OCD. I just love to be a horrible person, or I don't have OCD. I just want to harm everybody, or whatever your theme is. You could be sarcastic, or yeah, I may or may not obsess with that all day tomorrow. That's a style that some people do find really helpful. You have to find what's helpful for you, because there's a lot of different approaches to OCD, and you want to do what resonates with you, what makes you feel good. But the number one key regarding meta OCD or OCD in general is don't take the bait, right? Because once you take that seriously, once you look at that bait and you go, oh my gosh, we have a crisis, we have a problem, you believe the lie that OCD is putting out there, then you're hooked. And then once you start to actually take it seriously, and you start to weigh the options, or you start to do compulsions, that's me on a hook. On a fish hook. I do that to my kids all the time. I'll be like, don't get hooked in. And they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, it's a fish hook. Can you get that? I guess not. But don't get hooked in whatever way you can. Use the skills and the tools that you use for all your other OCD themes, because it's the same dance, just a different disguise. I hope that you find the sparkle in everything you do. If you want more in-depth help and you are a kid or teen, I do have an OCD course for kids and teens that you can find at atparentingsurvivalschool.com. I also have courses for parents to learn how to support your kids. You can check those out there as well. And I hope that you find the sparkle in everything you do, and I'll talk to you again next Thursday. Take care.